Good evening. This is Candy from the Candy Shop Show, part of the Diamond Network. This is our Thursday night show. Cynthia and Marianne and Myrrh will be back in 2 weeks to talk about the astrology. And if you listened to their wonderful show last week, they gave us a heads up on the full moon that's coming up January 28th. I encourage folks to listen to that program. It's up on YouTube if you haven't listened to it yet. Well, Elizabeth Diamond and often shares Sunrise Before the Dawn, and I talk about Anastasia and the Law of One. But we're going to start off soon with the Candy Jar segment, and just to welcome all our friends here live as well as out there in YouTube land. But I have not muted the room yet because would just love to have some interaction from those who are with us. But we just are so grateful to the Galactics who helped us help the universe last night on the Candy Shop show with Chris Jacobs. And I'm going to ask Misty if she would lead us in setting a good tone for tonight's program with the Law of One. Misty? Are you there?
Are you there?
Yes,
Are you
I'm
there?
Here.
Okay, sorry about that. I tried to unmute and then I ended up making another call. So sorry. You were saying, were you asking me to lead us in the Law of One?
Yes, I was.
Prayer? Oh, wonderful. Well, then, I would go ahead and get started. And if everybody already kind of knows the Law of One, we could just kind of say it all at the same time if you like. What do you think?
I think that's fine.
Okay, so I will go ahead and lead us, and I will ask that all of our angels and our guides and our God's angels that are here to help us, that are of the highest good of all concerned, please join us with this prayer and intention. And I thank Anastasia for being here today with us, and I want to include her and her origins and her heritage and her race and her galaxy with us tonight. And I will go ahead and begin. We are all one.
And
when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. And therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all that is, I ask that only that which is in the highest good of all concerned happen. And I give thanks that it is done. So be it, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Oh, well, thank you, Misty.
You're welcome.
Now it's time for the Candy Jar segment. Gosh, things just keep on happening. Last night I asked Mother Gaia to give us some protection as the Arctic blast was cleansing and healing, I thought, the pollution of Mother Earth. And she came on board and Chris channeled her, and she said, "Oh, no, I had nothing to do with this. This was the Cabal's doing. The Cabal has managed to put part of the HARP system back together, and they, in their frustration, created this Arctic blast with HARP." And she said she was going to try to ameliorate it as much as she could, but she was pretty upset about it, and she didn't want anybody getting upset with nature because of what is happening. And some of you heard the the mayor of Washington, D.C., was prevented from putting out the salt and getting the roads ready. So even though they just had an inch of ice, everybody was sliding around. There were a lot of people who had to spend 8 hours in their cars in downtown Washington, D.C. yesterday as everything came to a stop, and there were hundreds of fender benders. Well, we're still looking for more of the Arctic blast, sad to say, and they said that Washington, D.C. might have 2 feet of snow. Well, for those of you that were part of the call last night or listened to the replay on the phone, we did some cleansing in Washington, D.C. We cleansed a lot of the cabal control of the Office of Budget Management in Washington, D.C. We found a lot of cabal people, many layers below the surface of the ground underneath that building, and they were using holograms, and they were just causing all kinds of headaches and problems for the people that were trying to do their mission there in the Office of Budget and Management. You know that they make sure that that the money that is spent is money that Congress really authorized, or at least they try to do so. I think they failed in recent times. Before I go to the next topic, would anybody like to? I haven't muted the room. Would anybody like to remark about how they're faring in this storm and the weather? Is it cold where you guys are?
It's been. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's been cold here where we are, but it's been raining a lot. So it's just been chilly. It's kind of that pre-spring weather for us, and we're in Washington State. So
right. Yeah.
We're doing okay where we are.
Yeah. Well, my pipes are all frozen on my little farm, and it's very cold. Haven't lost power, but I'm starting to stay with family so that I've got running water. My pipes have been frozen for 4 or 5 days, so I'm just praying that my well will be okay when it defrosts on Saturday. So, well...
it will be.
It will be.
A few weeks ago, we had a horrible windstorm over here, and a bunch of people lost power, and some people lost for over a week. And so, that's definitely a possibility. So everybody should kind of be prepared for such a thing because this happens to us frequently.
Right. Well, Kelly and Carla and other friends from Springfield, they just had a horrible last night and last couple of nights, and so I'm lucky. I'm over here at Joplin on the Oklahoma border, and it's not quite so bad. But wow, there sure are a lot of earthquakes all the time in Oklahoma. It's just amazing. They have a dozen small earthquakes a day. Some most of them blame it on the fracking, and so it's really an uptick in the last 3 months. Where 3 months ago they might have had 5 or 6 small earthquakes, and now they've got a dozen, and some of them are 4.0, which people are feeling, and things are falling off the shelves when there's a 4.0, which some say that they have downgraded the earthquake scale, and that actually a 4.0 is a 6.0, and certainly that's the case. It used to be, things didn't fall off the shelves until it got to be 6. Well, let's see.
Wow.
The stock market is still concerning people. Benjamin Fulford is still saying that Citibank is going to be collapsing soon. And we got the message last night from the Galactics that the financial change will happen in October. Okay, I think I will use the group. So, yes, you can do a *6 if you wanted to add to the conversation. But I was very pleased that I could teach a meditation class yesterday, and I had a participant who had not done any meditation before, and then I have another friend who is attempting to meditate 10 hours a day for the next 8 weeks, because she feels, from what she's heard on Diamond Network and all, that this is a really critical time. And like our star brothers and sisters have said, we all need to kick it up, our meditating. And so she has taken that to heart, and I just really applaud her and want to put her example out there. So Elizabeth and I, we are pretty busy getting these shows ready and can't do that much meditating, but it's great for those who can. Yes, Misty?
Yeah, please, if I could comment on that, because there's a meditation, excuse me, there's a meditation it's every week, and it's on Thursdays for my time, it was at 11 a.m. this morning, and I'm on Pacific Standard Time. And it's just a quick meditation that, just to connect to Source, connect your heart, connect to the earth, spread love, hold that light. And it is really important that we do that. And I noticed some people say, like there was a comment about it saying, you need to get your head out of there. You need to get busy and get to work and stop thinking you're going to fix things by meditating, and witchcraft, as he was calling it. And I just really want to say that is not true. And as people, many of us know that that's not true. It is important to meditate or do whatever it is that you do that gets you into that zone. Practicing your artistic talents gets you into that zone, dancing, exercising, music, that kind of thing. You don't have to technically meditate and you don't have to technically pray, but just getting in there is going to help you, and it is going to absolutely help the rest of the world. Absolutely, and that is one of the most important things we can do. And then we can do the other stuff too. It'll all come to us easily, with ease and grace. So, okay, that's all I want to say.
Absolutely, and that's the meditation for asking that we find 144,000 to do the meditating. Is that right?
Absolutely. And
yes.
Doing that at the same time, things unfold, and I've seen it for myself, and people think that can't help, but it can help, and it does help, and we are divine, and we have that power to literally change things by connecting with that divinity within ourselves and spreading it across this beautiful planet so that we can heal it and all of her inhabitants. And all of everybody that is just keeping an eye on this and watching us and watching over us. This is for everybody and everything, and we can do this. We can do it in whatever ways we can. Even if you feel like you can't do anything, you can meditate, and you can give that source. You can take that source energy and ground it right into the earth and right into everywhere that you are, and intend it wherever you want it to go. Let's intend that for healing for the people that are going without power and who are truly learning what it's like to be homeless, because there's a lot of people going through this right now, whether they expected it or not. And I pray for them, and I hope we all can too.
Absolutely. And of course, I have spoken before on the Diamond Network about many of us participating in the Sunday Global Meditation with Cobra, and of course he has 12,000 on his website that is joining in, and that is just so exciting. You know, he's not an American, and he's just attracted so many from overseas to do these meditations. He's trying to link stronger with the Buddhists, because the Buddhists recently did a 1 million man meditation at the same time. So that is just going to be so exciting if we can get the Buddhists to join us every single week. It's also at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock to 1:10 Central Time on Sundays. So it's
nice.
It's right after lunch on Sundays, just for 10 minutes, and it's just so powerful if we can join the other 12. And we want to direct, this particular meditation is directed towards visualizing the disclosure happening soon and peacefully. That's
absolutely
the focus of that meditation. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, peacefully.
Right.
We don't need a bunch of people having heart attacks. So seriously, if anybody has anxiety issues, it would be very important to learn how to control those. That's what I'm working on myself, and I'll be sharing some of that. But there's a lot of people having anxiety, panic attacks and stuff with all the energies coming up and all of the stuff coming up from our past that needs to be healed and cleared out of our bodies and out of our emotional bodies. And just let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Absolutely. Well, Elizabeth has just really put up some wonderful things the last 3 or 4 days, as usual, on her blog. And I would encourage folks to listen and visit her blog almost daily if you can. That is diamondsforever31.blogspot.com. And I'm going to give out information on how you can friend me on Facebook before the show is over. So please have pencil and paper ready for that information. She asked Chris and I to kick it up a notch and get a few more thousand friends on Facebook. And so anyway, she asked us to, so we'll see what manifests there. The Galactics certainly do want us to be to apply the 100 monkey principle and get this energy that we're producing, this important energy from the Diamond Network spreading around the planet. So, well, that's it for the Candy Jar segment. And at this point, I think that we can talk a little bit about Anastasia. To review their website is ringingcedars.com, and I decided to check out her book on Facebook. On Amazon just now. The first editions that came out in 2003 had a picture of a blonde Russian woman on it. They now have beautiful flowers. They have a beautiful bright yellow sunflower. And Anastasia said that in 100 years from now, people wouldn't remember what she did for humanity. But there would simply be a flower called Anastasia. There are 10 books in the Ringing series, and the first one is called Anastasia. All of them, she was channeled by the author Vladimir Magritte after they met in person on a trade trip to the Siberian Taiga in 1995, where he witnessed incredible spiritual phenomena connected with the sacred ringing cedar trees. He spent 3 days with the woman named Anastasia, who shared with him her unique outlook on subjects as diverse as gardening, child-rearing, healing, nature, sexuality, religion, and more. Now, I've been talking for months here about these things, and as we remember, as we're getting ready for the gardening season to start in a few weeks, she encouraged us to each work with the fairies more and producing very healthy plants, and to have plants that would be individually helpful and healing for each one of us. So she suggested we suck on the seed for 9 minutes and under our tongue and let it be charged with our DNA so that it could grow produce that would be helpful for us ourselves. And I certainly did that a couple of years ago after reading the book. I did watermelon seeds, first of all, and it was, she wants us to go out every day and touch and tell your plants, I love you. And as you touch the plants, they will attune themselves, the plants and the fairies that work with them, to your DNA as you're changing. So that because the needs that your body temple might have the day you plant the seed would be different than the day you harvested the watermelon. And that was such an unusual watermelon. Mine was small, but it was so delicious and soft, and I could eat everything, all the seeds and the green rind, and it was a most unique watermelon that the universe designed just for me. Well, Misty, are you right there? Would you like to make a comment or ask a question?
Yeah, I'm right here. That sounds amazing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm all about seeds. And I know, you know what? There's some really interesting, there's a video. I wish I could remember what it's called. Okay, so have you ever seen the video they did? It looks like it was done in the 70s or 60s, where they had a woman and they were doing an experiment with plants. And they were trying to show that the plants could communicate and that they had feelings. And what they did was they had this one plant and they put a whole bunch of electrodes and stuff all over it. And they had another plant that was just like it. It was a head of lettuce. Okay. And they came over with a machete. They did this with a plant as well, and they monitored what happened. I guess it would be biometrically, so to speak. And the plant just went nuts when they destroyed this other plant in front of them with a machete thing. And then they came and did it with a head of lettuce, okay, and just chopped it up right in front of the plant, and it just went nuts. And then this woman... they also did it with this woman talking with the plant and giving it love, and took, records of what it did. And then even they had it to a point where the woman was teaching it how to talk, and the plant, through listening, they connected the sounds or whatever to the feedback, and the plant was trying to say, hello, I love you, and stuff like that right after the woman. It was so cool. It was so cool. So I'd recommend looking up that kind of stuff if you've never seen it. But, yeah, it's all frequency and energy waves and all that. I think that's amazing. If I didn't kill plants when I tried to grow them, I'd try it myself. I can't ever remember to water them, the poor things. They have to be right in my face.
Well, it is just wonderful. I mean, I moved, I was born in Los Angeles, so I moved out into the country here in the Ozarks, and I raised my children in nature. And I just loved and appreciate the sunsets and the beautiful wildflowers, and I let the wildflowers, take over the land, and it's just so beautiful. But I didn't really know how to love the plants and the birds and nature, and until I saw the way Anastasia was loving these plants and what she modeled in these stories, and it's just, and I used to hug a tree, but it was more like a joke. But now, she told us how trees and plants, they try to help us. They try to help us as much as they possibly can in their two-dimensional selves, and so boy, I after I read all that, I had a special hugging tree, and I go out there often and hug my special tree and give thanks and experience gratitude to the tree and to all 50 of my black walnut trees and oak trees and cedar trees. So, and a lot of people started getting a cedar tree, a Siberian cedar seed and planting it and growing it in their apartments in Russia, and a lot of the Russian immigrants. Of course, the book was in Russian first in '96, and they left America and Canada. They went home to Russia to start these eco villages and these special gardens and live the way Anastasia talked about. And there are websites about the eco villages, and we've talked about that more on the Tuesday calls that are about all different types of intentional communities. And of course, we wanted to start, my husband and I wanted to start an intentional community on our land for spiritual vegetarians when we got the land many years ago, and have a homeschool for the children, and people came, but it just wasn't exactly right. And of course, now we know about the archons and the Dracos that interfered. I kind of thought there was some demons interfering with things. I tried very hard not to blame the human standing in front of me, because I knew that there was unseen energies that were fighting for our survival as a beautiful country commune.
Well, the timing wasn't exactly right, but you got to try it out and test it out. So, are you still in a place to do something like that again? Because that's going on everywhere. Well, and that's what we're preparing to do. I mean, have schools set up.
We have a family that joined us me a month ago. I mean, it's just me now. My husband passed away, and my children grew up and moved away. But besides the big main house where I raised all my children, and different community people would stay there at times. We have a 2-bedroom trailer, and the family is in it. And then we have some other structures and dwellings, and we have lots of room for lots more. I don't really want more trailers brought in. I want more beautiful types of natural homes,
right?
teepees or something to be built.
I have a friend. She has a sweat lodge, and she made it herself out of a teepee, and it is awesome. Awesome. You get a wonderful sweat there. So maybe something like that might keep in mind. It's not that hard to do, and she's got it pretty well. She learned from her grandmother. She's Native American.
Right. Well, that's just wonderful. Besides friending me on Facebook, I'll tell folks how to look at the description of my intentional cleaning on the internet and see some pictures there. So,
her name's Judith Blackhawk, and she's on my friends list. Just friend request her because I don't want to forget.
Oh, okay. Judith Blackhawk.
Okay, she's wonderful. Judith Blackhawk. Yeah.
looking here at Amazon.com, it says there's 63 used copies of the Anastasia book starting from $1.60. And, of course,
oh, wow.
Yeah, you can get it on Kindle as well. Normally, if you buy a beautiful copy from their website, it's $17. So that's pretty good. $1.60 for holding it in your hand. They go on to describe that this wilderness experience transformed Vladimir so deeply that he abandoned his commercial plans and his fortune, and penniless, he went to Moscow to...
Are you talking right into your microphone, hon? You're kind of fading.
I'm sorry. Thank you for pointing that out.
That's better.
Yes. So he went, Vladimir Megre, M-E-G-R-E, went to Moscow to fulfill Anastasia's request and to channel the book about the spiritual insights she so generously shared with him. True to her promise, this life-changing book, once written, has become an international bestseller and has touched the hearts of millions of people worldwide. And there's especially a big movement in Australia among for English speakers. But people have voluntarily translated into over 20 languages. It is just so exciting. The second book is called The Ringing Cedars of Russia. The third book is The Space of Love. I just love that title, The Space of Love. And I'll be talking more specifically about these two books in the coming weeks. Next week, I'll be finishing Anastasia Book 1, and then after that, we'll be going into Book 2 and Book 3. Of course, Cynthia was really inspired. She was led to read the book when it first came out in English in 2003, and a lot of the Diamond Network Council have read the books. So it's just very, very inspiring, and I want to encourage people to use Amazon.com and to go in there and read the descriptions of our famous Christopher Stephen Jacobs. And I hope people are reading his book. I mean, of all the books you'd read, you please read Christopher's first and write a review there at Amazon and the other bookstore books. So, well, we have let's see, here's a review. I am finishing my last book and have already ordered the 10th one. The books truly give you a sense of love and world understanding. Many people have written negative reviews just because they don't believe that a person in the wilderness can have her own animals, just like we have cats and dogs. They don't believe that the bears help her and collect food for her, and they concentrate on the insignificant stuff. But who cares? The main point of the books is that you have to grow your own garden. You have to start caring for the environment more. You should be in the coexistence with planet Earth. And those are the points that no one can dispute. These books make you get it and also help you to get back on track in your life. And they sure are very successful. Many
Absolutely.
People, yeah.
Could I interject something really quick?
Yes.
Okay, so I know somebody right now who lives by himself. He communicates and communes with the animals all around him. He has bears that come up and he, interacts with, and all kinds of animals. He's very, very connected. And that's just like when you have gotten rid of, let go of the negative stuff in your heart enough and allowed enough positive and love into your heart and raised your vibration enough that you don't have fear and you're not a threat. When you don't have fear, because the animals can sense when you have fear, and if you have fear, they're afraid of you. because they don't know what you're going to do out of your fear. But when you don't have fear, they're like, hey, let's talk. You're not a threat. It's really cool. So anyway, I know that for a fact, and I want to go see this guy, actually. He sent me pictures of bears and stuff coming up to his porch and saying hello, and it's really cool. And he has UFO activity up there quite often. And he takes pictures, and he has his own website. Tell your UFO stories here. Tell your alien UFO stories here. Yeah. So I'd recommend that group if anybody's interested on Facebook and wants to talk about stuff they've experienced.
And what was the name of the group again?
It's called Tell Your Alien UFO/UFO Stories Here. And,
wonderful. Tell your alien stories here on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Anastasia can teleport to other planets, and she can go through the wormholes and visit other galaxies. And she doesn't make it clear in her first book that she herself is an ET who has a native planet in another galaxy, and that she intentionally came here to help humanity at this time. But those things you come to understand as you read more of the books and as you listen to Christopher Jacobs, because he indeed has channeled her and her race of ETs on several calls that are on Elizabeth's YouTube channel. So it's just very and powerful. And it helped me understand and know the truth of what Chris has been telling us about all these other races, having read and understood what she had said at first. So there's that. Well,
Candy, I was thinking, you said ETs, extraterrestrials, what ET stands for. We ought to start calling them ITs for interterrestrials.
Oh, I see. Yes, ITs. Thanks for sharing the joke, Mystic, and keeping up the Diamond Network theme of being happy and joyful and laughing. And
it is the only way to make it through this stuff, I'm telling you. Hey, is there anybody who wants to do is there somebody available? Or do we have the law? Oh, wait, we don't do that. The Law of Fun on this show? I don't usually catch the Thursday night shows.
Well, we don't usually do that except on the Monday night show. We try to keep this show pretty short, and I think we should be wrapping it up in the next 10 minutes. But, yes, we just, like Mr. Joyous came on the call at the end last night, and he just reminded us, practice joy, think on joy, and the Galactics can do such wonderful things with that kind of energy.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I'm going to mute out after this, but I wanted to tell you, if you're looking for anything to do, if there's anybody on the line who wants, I have these beautiful tarot cards. I'm willing to do a one-card reading for anybody. It would just take a moment, and if they want it, then I'll read them the description directly from the book. And I'll tell you this, these cards are over 18 years old. I've had them for over 18 years, and they are Shapeshifter Tarot, and they're a combination of Native American and Celtic inspiration. So if anybody wants one of that, I'd be happy to offer it, and it'll just take me like 2 minutes to read the description, and it would be personal to the person wanting it. And they don't even have to tell me.
So do you want to do that individually, or did you want to do one or two on the call tonight if anybody asks?
Yeah, I'm saying I would do it either way. If somebody wants a private one, then after the call, I'll let them know how to get a hold of me, and we'll do it. We can do it on Messenger. We can do it over the phone real quick. We can do it after the call. We can do it on the call, as long as they don't mind. And they don't have to say anything personal, because it would just be a direct direct message to them, kind of a thing.
Well, let's think on that, since Elizabeth is not going to be here to do the next part. We can have Misty and her tarot card reading. So think on that. I told you it is now the commercial time, and I've told you guys to have a pencil and paper hand, and I want to tell you that to find me on Facebook, the name is Candy Carroll, CARROLL, and it's Candy, CANDY, and my Facebook email address is Owaspy2002, and of course the name of that book is spelled OAH as in house, S is in spirit, P is in Paul, E is in elephant, 2002 at yahoo.com. So that is my email to find me on Facebook, or to send me a private word through the internet. That would be Owaspy2002 at yahoo.com. Would love for you to friend me and send me a message or two. So let's see. The next thing, I said that you might want to look up the reading about my little Echo Village, and that would be at IC.org. And of course, the IC stands for intentionalcommunity.org. And there is a Facebook page for those that are interested in Anastasia, and there's a group, and it's called Ringing Cedars International. And so people who speaking all different languages are there, and I would encourage folks to take a look at that group, no matter where you are in the world. Ringing Cedars International. And I'd love for you to plug the Diamonds Forever Network. Now, there is also the Cobra Etheric Liberation Group on Facebook. And, of course, we're closely connected to Cobra. The Diamond Network is, and you would want to, if you haven't got into Cobra a great deal, listen to, used to have monthly interviews with Rob, but now they're more often because things are speeding up as we're getting ready for disclosure. The purpose of the Diamond Network is manifold, but first of all, to help get mankind adjusted to the idea of mingling with our star brothers and sisters and welcoming them to land their craft openly and fearlessly without being afraid of the military shooting at them anymore. So that website would be prepareforchange.net. You would want to read this tab that says the event first, and then go to the tab that says, resistance or Cobra article, something like that. So that is that's the number one homework. If you haven't been to prepareforchange.net, do so. I told my son that he should, have a couple of weeks' supply of food in the house, just like the Elephant People, George and the Fab Four, has told Ray Koslovich to spread the word, and that there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that as things are changing in 2016, getting ready for the landings in 2018, that there might be a little bit of confusion and unrest, and there might be some times when we should put in our homes, and it would be good to have a couple of weeks supply of food and water for those that might stay with us. And sure enough, a few weeks after I suggested this, and of course sons and daughter-in-laws don't listen to moms, but there were 5 rivers around their home that flooded in St. Louis, and they had a boil order for water. So I think they were kind of feeling a little silly that they hadn't stored 2 weeks' supply of water and a little bit of food, because they kind of got stuck. There's a lot of reasons. It's a very practical suggestion to fill your pantry.
Sure. Well, Candy, if I could also say that, I said I wasn't going to. But here's the thing. If the dollar collapses or whatever happens, we're likely going to go without power for a few days, up to 2 weeks. It's going to happen if that happens. It's like there's almost no way around it. So we're all experiencing our own kind of little temporary hardships, so to speak, and hearing about it. And I think it's just kind of a little warning, just it helps you realize exactly where you'll be and how you would survive for 2 weeks camping or something without any power. And, so people, it's a good idea if they've got generators, and have stuff, just know where your friends are, know where your people are. And here's the other thing. When these little power outages kept going out, you sure learn who your friends are when that happens. And it doesn't mean anything that somebody's not your friend because they don't help you, but that's one of the things that people are experiencing. It's like, wow, I only needed a little bit of wood and you couldn't come bring me any because you were afraid you weren't going to have enough to get you through the next 2 months. I only needed it for a couple of days, that kind of thing. So anyway, sorry. So just know it's like testing time. So see.
Absolutely. And some people have got some supplies, but they haven't refreshed them or recycled them or decided that since nothing disastrous happened in 2012 to just forget the whole thing. And if it's simple and easy for you, do something. If not, that's okay. I'm sure everybody will be fine. Talk with your guides, and you'll be okay.
Absolutely.
And so, yes. Well, okay. So now's the time I want to ask anybody if they would like a public tarot reading from Misty right now, tonight, to wrap up our call. So *6 and come on in and tell us if you would like a tarot reading. I think she's got her cards right at her fingertips. Come on, somebody, let's do this.
If no one comes on, I'll do it for you.
Well, sure. I would have a reading. I haven't had one for 6 months for tarot card reading.
Okay.
But I'd be happy if anybody else wants to *6.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well.
Okay. You and I.
Do it for Candy.
Okay, let's do it for Candy. So I'm just going to ask that if there are any of Candy's guides right now who would like for her to have a message personal for her, that they bring that forth for the highest good of all concerned, especially Candy. And if they have any messages, direct messages that they'd like to give her, we ask them to give those to her now. How's that sound? Or do you have a specific question?
Sounds great. Let's see. Do I have a specific question? Well, I've got some questions, but I'm not sure. I think I'm a bit shy, so we'll just say whatever Raul Tindar, my guide, wants to come through with. That's fine.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. Okay, now, give me a number between 1 and 6, Candy, any number.
5.
All right. That's how many times I shuffle the cards. This will be fun.
Yes. Positive, joyful energy, everybody.
4. And I infuse my cards with my wonderful, joyful heart, asking for clear guidance, healing, and positive, intentions for all concerned, especially the person requesting the reading. Okay. So, let's just see here. We come up with... I did the best one for myself this morning. It was great. Okay, for Candy. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, first card. Okay, it is the Water Element Cups, and in this deck it is the sustenance, and it's the number 9, okay? And there's a beautiful picture, so I'm gonna read you the description, and then I'll read you what it says, okay? Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll even send you a picture of it later on Messenger if you like. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. So the traditional tarot card for this is 9 of Cups. The key words are satisfaction, growth, expansion, and harmony. The description. A great sea eagle woman, shapeshifter, rises out of the lagoon with a large fish in her talons. Water pours off the shapeshifter's feathers, arms, and talons in the form of droplets of radiant energy. A goddess rises out of the living waters of the lagoon, from which the part eagle, part woman shapeshifter arises. The water of the lagoon weaves into the sky, showing once again the precept of as above, so below. The sandy shoreline is covered with oyster shells, some open, some closed, trees of protection and knowledge. 3 large beaches grow from a rocky outcropping and form the background. Ooh, trees. We were just talking about that. Still there?
I am here, and of course I'm thinking about how on the call last night that I was inspired to lead the rescue with Chris of the fish beings.
Ooh.
From another galaxy, and they came here to help us. They were 18th density, and they came here to help us. Yes, 1 million years ago, and there was a war going on, and they took sides, and their side lost, and they were penalized and cursed so that they couldn't go home, and it was just the saddest story. And to be able to release these fish beings last night and see them smiling and waving as they were going back to the wormhole opened back to their galaxy and their planet. And so Chris went with them, and it was all a water planet. And they had sand. It was sort of, at first they apologized for the decay of their cities and homes because they hadn't been there for 1 million years, and of course they were like sandcastles all underneath the water. And
oh my gosh!
and their bodies, were laying in stasis because they had come. Their souls had come to Earth to help. They didn't bring their fish bodies, and so they were waking up their their bodies in stasis and climbing back into them, and some of them had not survived the million years in stasis, and so they were trying to rescue those beings that couldn't find their original body. And it was just, it was quite a program, and Chris had so much to share, and they said that once they got stabilized and everything was okay, that they would be coming back again. They were so glad that Chris helped them with the immediate, download of, and Michael and Lucifer, and they all helped them be restored and joyous, and that they will be coming back again someday to help Earth in this transition here after disclosure.
Wonderful. I can't wait until you see the picture of this card, because that makes perfect sense. And then you said they were 18th density, and I'll remind you that this card was a number 9, sustenance, and that, of course, 18 is 9. So, and when you see this card, excuse me, you'll see.
Well, the first question that I asked last night, my fan here on the shows, Sabrina, had wanted me to ask about sacred geometry, and so Michael came forward and he explained that he was the one that created sacred geometry, and that the first geometric shape was the triangle, the 3, and he was talking about the importance of the 3 and the 6 and the 9.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Like with the cache energy box that I'm building, that it needs to be to the power of the 9. You have to use 9 throughout the box, and so wow, I'm really resonating with the card that came up. And what else would you like to say about the card, my Diamond Network, and my own life?
Okay, so here we go. I'll go with that. This is the prophecy of the card. So, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Excuse me. Sorry to clear my throat on air. Okay. This is a card of opportunity, growth, good luck, material success, and happiness. It usually indicates assured future material sustenance together with physical well-being and sexual satisfaction. Hey. Sorry, I like to have a little comedy. Okay. With body, mind, and spiritual selves in harmony, the seeker is able to expand emotionally and creatively. A time of feasting and celebration, sustenance encourages you to accept the earthly and divine gifts that are given to you and to be more consciously aware of them. You will find great satisfaction and comfort in your relationships. Allow yourself to spread your wings and fly like the eagle with those people and experiences that give you a feeling of sustenance. Wow, what do you think?
I love it. I answered all my questions that I didn't speak out loud.
That's how it works. I love these cards. I love these cards, and I love when I can have that connection and be able to pull just that one that was just for you. So, yay, that's how it works. That's what I love. So.
Well, thank you so much, Misty. And you want to give your contact information once again so those who would like a tarot reading with you can reach you?
Absolutely. Probably the best way to get a hold of me for a tarot reading would be to send me an email. And if we are already friends on Facebook, you can send me a message. And I get a lot of messages every day, so I don't always see them. So that's one way, but email might be better. So just let me know that you would like a reading. Put reading in the subject matter, or in the message, just say, Misty, I'd like a reading. And so my email address is mistalinstar@gmail.com. And I'm sorry for the length of it, but here's what it is for now. That's spelled M as in Mary, ISTILINSTAR synstar@gmail.com. So that would be a good way, either of those two ways.
Well, that's just great, and I bet that if someone offered you donations, you would not turn them down.
I would not turn them down at all, and I'll tell you what, if anybody does do that and offers donations, then I will give a portion of that to Elizabeth directly for the Diamonds Network. So I will give at least a third of whatever anybody donates to me to Elizabeth.
Well, that's just wonderful. That. And do you do both money orders and PayPal?
Absolutely. Yep, my PayPal is the same as, it's my email address, and I do have a PayPal account there, and it's really easy. So sure, PayPal, money orders, and then I'll probably even set up something on my Messenger. There's a little button you can do to accept payment that way. So I can do that. And if anybody is just really having a hard time, please, I encourage you to let me give you a reading for free. We'll have to set it up. But, if you can't afford, but you'd like a little guidance, then I'm happy to do a one-card reading for you and, help you when I can. So
wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Misty. Thank you for co-hosting tonight. And
you're welcome.
Cynthia had said she wanted to skip next week because of the planetary activity, and then she will be back. So Elizabeth and I will be back next Thursday, and I hope all of you will come and bring your friends, and let's start thinking about some wonderful gardens, this flower gardens and vegetable gardens for this spring.
Fabulous. Thank you, Candy. This was fun.
Thank you, Misty. Join me.
You're welcome.
Candy, to our segments, and everybody have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be a special show Monday night, and then on Wednesday night, Christopher Jacobs will be back with the Candy Jar segment starting an hour later than this evening. Check us out on YouTube. Check out Cobra and PrepareForChange.net, and we'll see you next week. Good night, all.